Hello and welcome. This is Jasur from Shanghai Silk Road. In this video, I want to talk about starting a store on Aliexpress. Basically, this is our probably third or fourth video on the same topic. Especially after our last video, we've received a lot of emails literally asking the same question. I'm from this and that country, and I want to start a store on AliExpress. I want to be able to sell worldwide. What are the requirements? Although I talked about these topics, these elements in my previous video, but still people want to know, it seems like that, they want to know more. So today, actually, I want to talk about those 7 countries which AliExpress is working right now, and I want to explain, I want to compare them, so you can see yourself which one has the advantage, which one has some disadvantages, etc., etc. So basically, once again, guys, if you're new right now, starting from 2020 January, AliExpress started this offering the opportunity to open a store for companies which are registered in one of these 7 countries. What countries are they? Obviously, number 1 is China, number 2 is Italy and Turkey. We also have Russia, France, and Malta, and Spain. Okay, so all these 7 countries, meaning if you have a company registered in any one of these 7 countries, you can go ahead and apply for AliExpress seller account and start selling globally. All right, now our role here is obviously we can help you register companies in one of the 7 countries here, okay, the mentioned countries. And not only limited to that, but in this case, if you want to start an AliExpress store, these are the 7 countries you have to choose from. All right, so we can definitely help you with with any country here if you want to register your company. Just let us know. Okay, so basically, instead of asking the same question and again on email, you can choose a country, okay, specific country, after watching this video, because right now I'm going to compare them in detail. All right, and yeah, choose a country, let us know. All right, where do you want to register your company? So after that, once we've got your business license, we can help you apply to AliExpress store and get registered there, and also finish the AliExpress seller account registration as well. We can do it here. So it's going to be a turnkey solution for you. Okay, you don't have to go through any process. All right, guys, without further ado, I'm going to switch to my screen right now, so you can see all the important elements here, and based on those elements, you can make a decision. Okay, which country is best for your AliExpress business. All right, so let's start now. Okay, so this is as you can see, a very simple table, but it gives enough information to make a decision. Basically, number 1 country, like I said, it's China, because AliExpress is a Chinese company. It belongs to, obviously, Alibaba Group. And so I'm going to explain all these, very important details, okay, one by one. So in China, in order to register a company, you don't have to pay any capital, okay? No paid up capital is required by law. Next element is resident director. In China, you don't have to provide a resident director, meaning a foreign person, foreign resident, can be a director of a Chinese company. Number 2, very important part, is corporate tax. Corporate tax rate in China is from 15% to 25%, and your worldwide income is also taxed in China. Okay, that is generally speaking. Yeah, by the way, I'm not a tax expert, or I'm not a tax lawyer. It's just for general information. But of course, if you want professional help, if you want professional lawyers' help, or accountant's help, please let us know. Okay, so we can provide you that professional help on a contract basis. So once again, it's for general information, just to get some idea. And next thing is corporate account. Most of the banks around the world, they require deposit. In case of China, none of the banks in China require deposit. Obviously, I'm talking about local banks, because in China there are a few foreign banks as well, so we're not talking about them. For example, HSBC, they might require some deposit. Travel company, traveling, that is the requirement. Okay, some countries require you to go, visit the country company registrar department in order to finish the company registration process. In case of China, it is not required. So you can start the company registration entirely from distance and finish it. Obviously, there are requirements, okay, in terms of documentation, which I talked about many times before in different videos. I'm going to skip that part. Next thing, this is another travel requirement for the bank. Okay, this is corporate bank account. So again, some of the banks in the in different countries, they require you to go there in person. There is no way to open a corporate bank account without you being present, obviously. So in China, 2-3 times, okay, depending on the situation, but generally speaking, it's 2 times. Sometimes bank might require to go there again just to activate some accounts. Like depending on your company, you will have 1 to 3 accounts, okay, in one bank. So Chinese banks, most of them, all of them actually, all the local banks, they require you to visit them. Okay, so when you contact us, when we start your process, basically we're going to tell you when and how to visit. Obviously, one of our staff will accompany you to the banks, and we're going to finish the process. Obviously, I mean, in China there's a language barrier, so do not worry about that. So we will help you with the process. And next thing is the time. Many people ask how long does it take to finish the company registration in China. That is approximately 1 month. Guys, when we talk about the times, okay, please bear in mind that it's extremely hard to be exact, okay, not only in China but all the other countries as well. All right, so it's very hard. Because there is bureaucracy, and there are some unforeseen circumstances that we cannot control. So you just have to take these time frames as approximate. Next thing is another time, which is for the let me just tell you, 1 month for the approximate company registration again, and another time frame for the corporate bank account. Which is between 5 and 15 days, okay? An office requirement in China, by law, it is physical office space. I know many agents in China, they try to assure you that virtual office is fine, but by law it's not required. It's not allowed, okay? In China, law requires you to have a physical office space. But again, okay, why? Let me just quickly explain why do those agents, company registration agents in China, they tell you that virtual office address is okay, because sometimes clients do not need visa in China. They just want to register a company in China, so therefore they say, okay, virtual office address is fine, because immigration do not care. Okay, immigration office, they don't care. All right, whether you have physical office space or if it's just paper, it's on paper, that's it. But if you need a visa, this is where things get real. Okay, by law, you should have a physical office space, but the law doesn't say that only in the case of visa you need a physical office space. It just says that companies registered in China, they need to have a physical office space. That's it. Okay, no exceptions. But they only check it when you apply for a visa. Okay, that's the logic. So next thing is company secretary. In some countries it is required that you have a local secretary. For example, Hong Kong. I know Hong Kong is not a separate country, but it is a separate jurisdiction. So that's why different laws, they require a resident secretary. Director, in China, minimum one director, minimum one shareholder, and type of company, obviously, in all countries, we will be talking about W4E, meaning wholly owned enterprise, LLC, limited liability company. Next country, which is, available on Aliexpress is Italy. And in Italy, paid up capital is €1. That is required, that you have to put that amount in the bank. And resident director is not required in Italy. Corporate tax, that is 24% worldwide from worldwide income. And corporate account, some banks require some deposit. Okay, we cannot be very specific, obviously, because there are several banks to choose from. Some banks do not. So travel requirement, you don't have to go to Italy in order to finish company registration. Traveling to the bank, again, that varies from bank to bank. Some banks allow us to open an account on your behalf from distance. So just let us know. Okay. Time, approximately 2 weeks to finish the company registration. And time for the bank, let me just give answer to all of the countries, for all of the countries, which is 2 to 6 weeks. Why? Because there is due diligence. All right. Sometimes due diligence is finished quickly, and it's just 2 weeks, and sometimes it goes up to 6 weeks. And in Italy, by law, virtual office is allowed, so you don't have to have a physical office space. No local secretary is required in Italy, and director, one director, and shareholder, also minimum one shareholder. Turkey. In Turkey, minimum paid up capital is €1,600. Resident director is not required. 22% corporate income tax, taxed from worldwide income. And corporate account, again, some banks require deposit. Travel requirement for company registration is not required. Travel requirement for the corporate bank, again, depends on the bank. Time is required for the company registration is 3 to 4 weeks. And for the corporate bank accounts is 2 to 6 weeks. Again, virtual office address is allowed, and no secretary is required. One director minimum, one shareholder minimum. And Russia, in the case of Russia, minimum paid up capital is 130 USD. Resident director is required, so this is a very complicated matter if you try to do it yourself, obviously, especially if you don't have anybody in Russia. But we can provide nominee director services, just let us know. Corporate income tax 20%, worldwide income is taxed, and some banks require deposit in Russia. So different banks, we have to be specific in order to give you specific answers. So travel, you don't have to go to Russia in order to finish company registration. For the bank, again, it depends on the bank. It's manageable. We can help you open a corporate bank account in Russia without travel. Time, 1 to 2 months. That is for the company registration, and another time frame for the corporate bank account is 2 to 6 weeks. Next thing is office. Virtual office address is allowed, and secretary is not required by law. Okay, local secretary, minimum one director, minimum one shareholder. In the case of France, so paid up capital is €1. Okay, €1. Resident director is not required. Tax 33%, 33 and 3% worldwide income is also taxed. And some banks require deposit. Travel is not required to finish company registration. And for the corporate bank account, again, that's different based on, depending on which bank you choose. Time for the company registration 1 to 2 months, and the time for the corporate bank account, again, the same thing, 2 to 6 weeks. Virtual office address is allowed. Secretary is not required. 1 director, 1 shareholder minimum. In the case of Malta, 1,165 euro minimum paid up capital, and resident director is not required. Corporate income tax is 35%. Worldwide income is taxed as well. Some banks require deposit. You don't have to go to Malta in order to finish company registration. Some banks require you to go there, okay, to open a corporate bank account. Time for the company registration is 1 to 2 months. Corporate bank account 2 to 6 weeks again. And office is virtual, okay, we can do that. And secretary is not required. 1 director, 1 shareholder, okay, obviously LLC. In the case of Spain, paid up capital is a little bit high, which is 3,000 euros. No local director is required, and corporate income tax is 25%. Worldwide income is taxed, and some banks require deposit. No need to go to Spain in order to finish company registration. And corporate bank account, some banks require. Some banks, they don't require that you go to Spain. And time 2 to 3 months to finish the company registration. Corporate bank account 2 to 6 weeks because of the due diligence. Virtual office address is allowed. No local secretary. 1 director minimum, 1 shareholder minimum, and this is LLC. As you can see, guys, look at this table, okay? Pause this video, look carefully. You can compare all of the options. Just let us know where do you want to base your company in, so we can help you further. Okay, we can provide more detailed information regarding fees, regarding banks, etc., etc. But honestly speaking, if you ask me which country is the best to register your Aliexpress store, I would easily, say that it would be China. Why? Again, number one is China banks. This is one of the important thing. China banks do not require any deposit. Okay, this is good for people who want to, save costs. Okay, so they want to save some money. You don't want to, if you don't want to deposit huge amounts, like in some cases banks require you to deposit like 10,000 or 50,000 USD in just to open a corporate bank account. In the case of China, no deposit is required. And number 2 is corporate bank account is guaranteed in China. Okay, it is very rare that banks refuse applications. At least in our experience, okay, we've been doing this thing for a long time now, and none of the banks refused any account. Okay, so that is again another advantage. And yeah, like I mentioned, no paid up capital in China. Okay, not even $1. You don't have to put any money in order to open a company here. Okay, in the company account. And another advantage, obviously, Aliexpress is a Chinese company, so it's easier for them to understand and to work with the Chinese company papers. And also in the Aliexpress store dashboard, you have this, the different options there. You have this, the functionality in order to sign contracts with the local logistics companies. I mean, Aliexpress helps. Okay, obviously store owners. So for that reason, Chinese company is easier for them to understand. And obviously logistics companies here, they easily sign an agreement with your company so that you can ship your products to the local, to your clients basically abroad. So I recommend China because it's straightforward answer. Okay, why? Because again, the last reason is you're doing business in China. All right. Although Aliexpress is a cross-border e-commerce platform, still it's a Chinese company. It is in China. So why don't you register a company in China? Because it's easier, you know. And also, as you can see, taxation in China is not very high, but it's somewhere in the middle. It's from 15 and 25%, okay, in between. In most of the cases, it's actually, you know, lower than 25%. It's somewhere like 20%, 22%. It really depends on many factors, including your, you know, revenue. And obviously, like I said, if you want more detailed information on that, we can give you, you know, that professional information on a contract basis. Just let us know. Talking about the different countries, obviously, yes, if you're from Europe, you can choose from Italy, Turkey, France, Malta, and Spain, and Russia, obviously. But in the case of Russia, I wouldn't go there, especially if you're from I mean, in terms of company registration, especially if you're from Europe or US, because of the you know, economic you know, problems between the countries. So Russian banks might have some trouble, you know, in terms of payments. Some banks in Europe, they might not work with Russian banks. So, and also registering a company in Russia is not a very, you know, easy process. It's a little bit complicated, and plus taxation in Russia is also a little bit complicated compared to those you know, developed countries, for example. But obviously, I'm not trying to, you know, stop anybody from registering company in any one of the countries. Just, you know, based on this basic general information, at least I hope that you can compare and make a decision. So when next time when you send us an email with you know, question, I want to register a company, I want to start a store on Aliexpress, can you send me some information? Please watch this video and make a decision, and please send us more specific email. Okay, again, where do you want to register the company, when do you want to start, and all the, you know, other specific questions. Okay, if you have specific questions specific to that country, okay, the country of your choice, so then we can go ahead and give you more clear information. Okay, otherwise it's just general information. You can watch everything related to Aliexpress from our previous videos, or, you know, look at the table that I presented today, or watch this video again if anything is unclear. But all the questions are welcome. I mean, this is not to discourage anyone. I'm just saying that, you know, in order to move faster, we have to be more specific. Okay, so try to be as detailed as possible in your emails. For those who sent us emails from the US, from Holland, from Germany, all these countries asking the same question: how can I start an Aliexpress store? Guys, your country of citizenship, because you specifically mentioned it on your in your email, that doesn't matter. Okay, whether you're from US or from Germany or from Holland. Why? Because Aliexpress does not have those options. Okay, if you have a company in your country, you cannot use that company to start an Aliexpress seller account. Okay, once again, you need to have a business presence in one of the 7 countries which I just mentioned, okay, which we talked about right now: Mainland China, Italy, France, Malta, Spain, Russia, or Turkey. Okay, these are the 7 countries limited on Aliexpress right now. So you have to have business presence in one of those 7 countries. You can have from 4 you know, options, basically, business presence. Number 1 is state-owned companies. Number 2, public listed company, privately owned companies, and self-employed individuals. Okay, in those 7 countries. So again, having a business presence in different countries other than these 7 countries has nothing to do with Aliexpress business. All right, guys. Yeah, you can be from US, but you can still own a company in China. So in this case, you can use your Chinese company to start the AliExpress store. You can have a company in Italy, for example, and you can use your business in Italy, registered business in Italy, to start an AliExpress store. Okay, so or any one of these 7 countries, basically. Okay, once again, please choose a country based on what I've just explained. Okay. Okay, guys. So with this, I'm going to finish this video. Again, any questions are welcome. Have a nice day, and I'll see you guys in the next videos. Thank you.